This
This
conference
conference.
will now be recorded.
Okay, so yeah, so I was referring to why do you think that Cypress, or let's say whoever is, let's say, aware about Cypress, why do you think that Cypress is a great tool for the automation, and what are the advantages? Can anybody kind of elaborate little bit on details about this same? Why Cypress do you think is the better tool comparatively right now in the like QA market, guys? Anyone wants to add anything? Yes. What do you think? Why like more of the QA members are, let's say, moving towards Cypress? What are the advantages? What do you think? What are the pointers which comes into considerations whenever we talk about the automation tool, and when people say that let's kind of start with the Cypress automation? So just to give you a brief overview, guys, as we are aware, like the topmost popular right now also in the market is at the first position is Selenium, guys. Okay, which is like the obviously the open source, and second where we have is like second and third position is again you can say that it is being shared by both Cypress and Playwright. Okay, and both of this tool, what we have, let's say Cypress and even Playwright, both has the prerequisite that you should be aware about one of the programming language, that is JavaScript or TypeScript. Okay, so these are the basic things which we will require when we kind of go into detail about the Cypress. Okay, so please remember, guys, everyone, we will be having like detailed sessions on JavaScript. Okay, because our course is purely designed with one of the programming language, that is JS. Okay, and second prerequisite, guys, which will be required from the installation point of view, that we will require the node installation as well as node package manager, which is obviously coming under node. We will require that installation. That's it. These are the two prerequisite which we will require when we will obviously kickstart our Cypress automation practice activity. Okay, so talking about my introduction, guys, I'm because I do have exposure of almost like 12 plus years of exposure into QA automation. I have been working with almost like all the frameworks, so I have good exposure over Selenium, Playwright, Cypress. So these are the I would say the automation tool which I have been working. And throughout my career I have been, let's say, you can consider more than 20,000 regression test case has been, let's say, created and automated. And I have exposure of creating the framework from scratch, maintaining the framework, reusing, so all the approaches whatever we require from the automation point of view. So I do have exposure on all the aspects. um, Other than that, I do have some exposures on Jmeter as well as like K6. These are the two performance testing tool, which is kind of you can say add-on exposure and experience. Like it once you have the good understanding on JS, that is JavaScript, you guys can also kind of have the understanding on K6 as well, which is like the booming tool, which is kind of progressing towards the performance testing. And K6 is kind of designed purely for API, and it is moving towards the browser windows, or you can say web actions automations as well in the coming days. Okay, so like in next 2 or 3 months you will see that they have already released the experimental version, but yes, in coming days you will see a lot of improvement in the K6 area as well. So the reason I'm saying is because Cypress, K6, Playwright, all these tools are using JS as a you can consider programming language, guys. Okay, and the framework design pattern, the folder structures, all this remains same. Only thing is in K6 we have some external things, so we will not talk about performance testing right now. We'll be kind of purely talk about purely have the conversation on Cypress. So, just to give you a brief overview, why Cypress, guys? I will navigate you to the official website, guys. I will not go anywhere. Just I would request everyone. Cypress has got a very beautiful documentation. No need of let's say navigating to any of the source, let's say community support or Stack Overflow or any of the online this thing, guys. You can simply let's say go to the official you can say website, guys. And once you navigate to Cypress, right, you will see that here you have section called as Cypress app. Okay, wherein this is the you can say a detailed discussion on why Cypress, what are the advantage. So please remember, guys, I'm not having any, let's say, any fancy PowerPoint presentation or something. I will directly refer to the actual content which is accessible for everyone. Okay, and who can refer them on their official website, guys. So before I move to why Cypress, guys, anybody has any kind of queries, doubts, questions, you guys can unmute and speak up for next couple of minutes. After that, I'll kind of come back to this particular discussion, that is why Cypress. Anybody wants to, let's say, have any let's say conversation, any doubts, any queries about the course, or let's say anything, please feel free to ask your doubts, guys. Anyone?
How much of JavaScript knowledge do you think it's required to learn Cypress for low coding people, beginners, or
Yeah,
no knowledge about coding? Is that still useful to have this course?
yeah. uh, Thank you for highlighting that. With respect to coding, with as in JS, right? I would say even the one who is having the basics of Java, when I say Java, guys, you should be aware about little bit about the object oriented concept, whatever we have. Okay, and looping concept, then conditional statements, all those logic, you should be aware. So only those part, because even in the JS, if you see the basics, guys, you will see that the most of the code which I will be, let's say, sharing, which I will be trying to explain practical implementation, we will be any which ways integrate our Cypress and JS both. So I would say that it doesn't, let's say, require vast exposure or experience with JS. Uh, Out of five, I would say even if you have the knowledge on JS, let's say 2 or 2.5, that is fine. We will be having good exposure by the end of at least uh, 5 to 6 session. Once we complete 5 to 6 session, you will have the great understanding on what all things is required from automation point of, because as you know, Cypress is having low code. We have various plugins, we are having various you can say online you can say utilities which will help us to generate the JS code, and we can modify as per our test scenario, test cases, test strategy. Okay, so it will be comparatively less, I would say. Anybody else, any queries, doubts, questions?
Yes, this is Ramki here. I do have one query.
Mhm. Go ahead, please.
So how is the job market demand for Cypress, where it is compared to Selenium, where Selenium, which has the huge market demand still in the IT industry. So how about Cypress? How confident you are Cypress has can overtake Selenium?
Ideally, right now it's been 6 years. I would say Cypress has been in the market. It has been like because right now I would say most of the cases where we see, right, how Cypress is being used is like they are trying to migrate their existing Selenium framework into Cypress with a concept of, let's say, POC style, like proof of concept, to understand how this framework will behave in the BDD style of writing, in the POM page object model style of writing. So if the POC or that activity which is given by the QA architect is successful, only then the management or like they are taking the decision that we can migrate. So out of 100, if I say that Selenium is still having a market cap of 50 to 55%, then Cypress is having almost like around 20, I would say 20%, and other 20-25% goes to other tools such as Prover, Playwright, Catalan Studio. Those are the tools which is being used. Okay, so I would suggest right now it is in the growing stage, but again, the concern over here is you need to kind of actively involve and try to create a POC, try to generate one like end-to-end framework design for some of the module for your project, existing project, and that you need to share with your management. Then only you have, let's say, the decision of why we are kind of having this Cypress. Okay, so this that's the current situation right now in the QA market.
Thanks, Vikash. Agreed. Yeah.
Anybody else? Any queries? Any doubts? Any perfect?
Just to follow on that one, I'm here in the UK and I see many companies moving from Selenium to Cypress for a while, but now Playwright is picking up. I think it's only because it's free.
Mhm.
I know the background of how you said the prerequisite about having Node.js and TypeScript or JavaScript for Cypress and Playwright.
Mhm.
What else is the difference between Cypress and Playwright other than it's being free and one is not free?
No, both are free, both are open source. Only some extent, because as you know, we need to kind of integrate with some of the third party. You can say if you want some better reporting, better flexibility, better flaky test scenarios. So in that case, Cypress is having some premium included. Actually, it's not completely free. So that comes under Cypress Cloud actually. Okay, when it comes to Playwright, guys, Playwright is having like obviously different market, this thing, wherein Playwright and Cypress are having same market, this thing, percentage. There is no such major difference comparatively. Only thing is, in terms of execution, Cypress and Playwright is currently having the same speed, which is obviously you might have heard that Selenium, if it is taking 1 second to execute a particular test case, then Cypress right are kind of taking the time of 1 divided by 10 of the time which has been taken by Selenium scripts, guys. Okay, so that's the major, I would say, difference between Selenium and Cypress and Playwright. Other than that, with respect to market cap, with respect to advantage, both the tools are obviously has equivalent importance current in the current market. Okay, and the only thing is, with the Cypress script, you will be having a role of performing the performance test as well. You can kind of perform the performance test, because the same script you need to have the virtual user logic, then duration logic, iteration logic, so that you can set up by involving some of the dependencies, and you will be able to have the performance activities as well. Performance, you will be able to generate the report as well.
Okay, that's quite a lot to take in, but I think I need to listen to that again. But anyway, thanks. Yeah.
Yes, yes, because obviously there are a lot of, you can say, When I talk about Cypress, in Cypress we have a feature of Cypress Cloud actually, which is again a vast, you can say, feature which comes along with some pricing. Okay, so I'll talk about that later on. Okay, so both are having obviously same execution speed, installation setup, browser support, parallel executions, test coverage. All this remains same when it comes to advantage between Cypress and Playwright actually. Okay,
Sure.
perfect. So I'll go with the basic guys because I'm not sure how many of you are from complete manual testing. How many of you have, let's say, worked on Selenium in the past, right? So irrespective of that, whoever is, let's say, coming to, you can say, automation, this thing, the only prerequisite, one more prerequisite, I hope everyone are clear, whenever whoever is kind of working in automation, you should be having good exposure, or like enough exposure for manual testing guys. Okay, so when I say manual testing, because to a stable environment, right, for stable environment only then you will be able to perform the automation. That's the very very you can say important point, because if you think that people are trying to develop on dev environment and now you are doing the automation on dev environment, that is not the correct approach. Okay, so the environment which you will be selecting for automation, that will be a stable environment, and there will be hardly one release a week or two release a week on that particular environment. There should not be a frequent release guys. Okay, so that's we will discuss in detail. So the very first thing, why Cypress, the very first point, it is very easy installation guys, no documentation required. You will be able to install within 5 to 6 minutes. You will not require any kind of documentation, no need of path setup, environment variable, all those which which we require in Java, right? Those type of setup is not required. You just need to trigger a command in terminal, in command prompt, and once it is done, you are good to go guys. Okay, so that's the first step which we will do, easy installation guys. Second, you can see that you have something called as guided support guys. Okay, so guided setup means basically you will be having the configuration file and everything will be generated automatically into your folder structure. No need of creating any specific file, how we do in Selenium. So in Selenium, you remember we need to create, let's say, page object, or let's say config file, URLs, base URLs, base class, all those things, right? In this Cypress, guys, you will have the same folder structure, whether it is an API automation, whether it is a UI automation, the folder structure will not change. And this is, guys, one time setup which we will be doing. Okay, once this is done, you don't need to change anything. It's a one time activity. After that, once you do that, your folder structures will get automatically updated, and you will be able to have your test case writing, test case execution, test case, let's say, debugging, whatever you wanted to do, you will be able to do. Okay, next is readable test guys. So whatever you see over here guys, you will see that you have very good visibility, because in Cypress we are having certain commands which will be easy to understand what are the various command, and for each command we have the detailed documentation, what all parameter it can accept, why it can accept only this parameter, what are the optional parameter. Okay, so we have the detailed documentation which is kind of mentioned for each and every command guys. Okay, so we will have the test case, whatever you will read, right, it will be having a beautiful structure. You will be able to have different it block, what is it block, what is describe block, we will talk about that in detail. Okay, after that we have kind of click and record guys. Okay, So now what is click and record? You might have heard some of the plugins, guys, you installed over here and try to perform this activity, correct? So same way, Cypress is having something called as Cypress Studio, guys. Okay. Now what is Cypress Studio? Basically, whatever action you wanted to achieve, right? Whatever test case you wanted to create, you can perform the click and record the action, and once the recording has been done successfully, the parameterization, data driven, setting up the csv file, setting up the test data, all those activities you can change accordingly as per the script. Okay. And the last one is all in one framework. Okay. So what is all in one framework? Basically you will get the screenshots and video, you will get reporters support, assertions library. The common library which is supported by Cypress is Jasmine, Chai, Mocha. These are the supported libraries. So we will talk about that. We have some inbuilt JavaScript test of framework which we can integrate by including the dependency from the node package manager, guys. Okay. So these are the very you can say in detail discussion or in detail advantage what are why we are having Cypress. Okay. So you will see beautiful reports which is getting generated. All the assertions you can put as per your need. If you want to put 10 assertion, 20 assertion, after each and every step assertion, it's your choice. For each and every failure scenarios, if you want to have the recorded videos, screenshots, so that it will not consume that much memory how like usually Selenium or other tools is taking. Okay. So we will obviously talk about this in detail. After that, you have something called as visual dependencies, guys. Okay. Visual debugging, basically what happens is whenever we are running our test, right, you see that in Selenium what happens, the code is written into your Eclipse and you are running your test, and then again you need to debug. For debugging, again you need to come to Eclipse and try to check at what step it is throwing error. So comparatively, Cypress is saying that we are time travel. Time travel means you will see the steps on the left hand side and you will see the behavior on the right hand side. Okay. So on the left hand side, you will see all the command which is getting executed, and on the right hand side, you will see that what all step is being, let's say, by performing this action, what is happening. By performing this action, what is happening. Okay. Although it is very quick, very fast, but you should be aware about this particular command, and accordingly you can do the analysis. uh, at what step it has entered the value, at what step it has clicked on the drop down, at what step it has, let's say, hover the mouse over some element. So all these are available, guys. Okay. Next is live reload. Live reload means if you let's say create any script, right, you reload that file, it will be completely in the form of cy.js. Okay. So you can see that on the side by side you will see the script, and on the right hand side you can save and run, save and run, save and run multiple time, guys. Okay. There is no such criteria that you have some limitations. As soon as you press Control S from your VS Code, because we are going to use the editor as VS Code, which is mostly supporting, which we are having the prerequisite. And as soon as you press C Control S, automatically your script will trigger and it will throw an error if there is any assertion issue or page load issue or element issue. Okay. Next is native browser, guys. So you can see on the left hand section you can have the console area. You can see over here, guys, we have the console area, as well as you I'll talk about this particular screen is called as Cypress Runner, guys. And we are having the support for all the browsers such as Chrome, Edge, Firefox, Electron. These are the common browser which we are using. Okay. And if you want to inspect some of the values, right, at the time of execution, on the right hand side you can inspect what are the cookies value, what are the session value, what is being stored in the local storage, everything you can check when the actual test is running, guys. Okay, so you can if you want to clear the cache, if you want to clear the session data, everything is available. So we will be able to inspect at the same time. Screenshot and video, I already talked about this. So we have something called as videos, you have something called as screenshot. So the videos and screenshots are kind of compiled in .mp4 format, and the same screenshot and the same video is getting attached to your HTML report. So in Cypress, we are having one reporters, guys, that is called as Mocha Epsom reporters. We will talk about that later on. And this is on our choice whether you want the videos and screenshot or whether you don't want. Okay. So obviously, once we are ready with your framework, everything is set up. After that, only we will turn on the video, guys, because of memory issue. Obviously all these are getting recorded, so all the steps what is being performed, guys, it is kind of getting converted into .mp4 format. Okay. Last is embedded cloud, guys. This is something which I told you that this is having some pricing involved. So this particular section, previously we used to call this as Cypress dashboard. The name has been updated to Cypress cloud. Okay, so if you want to get integrated with all the CI/CD such as GitLab, GitHub, Git, uh, you can consider Circle CI, Azure, Bitbucket. So we have the integration. You just need to do this activity one time. Your code should be present on that particular repo, and you can trigger the test case via CI/CD, that is Jenkins, via Azure Play. You can say Azure part. Also, you can create a pipeline, guys, in Azure, and you can trigger your test case accordingly. Okay. So I talked about first is easy installation, and then second is time travel. Okay, third is automatic waiting, guys. Okay, so what is automatic waiting? Basically, Cypress is having the default page load time, default loading time for all the activities which are being considered. Okay, even if the page is loading and it is waiting for almost like 60 seconds, guys, unless and until the page gets loaded, even if it is not able to find the element over the web page, then only it will throw an exception. Okay, but till that time it will keep on searching or keep on validating where that element is. So automatic waiting means you don't need to provide the explicit wait or implicit wait what we have in Selenium. Okay, you don't need to provide those type of wait. Cypress will automatically understand at what point I need to wait, at what time I need to execute the test case in a faster manner. Okay, and then we have some options such as retry, isolation, flake detection. Flake detection, please remember that it comes with a premium, guys. If you want to do a retry, you just need to provide the logic in the config.js. In case if it is failing, then it will try one more time, two time, that value you can provide, and accordingly it will do a retry for the failed scenario. Then we have test isolation. Test isolation means like, if you want to, you can see over here, here we have login as a member. After that, if you want to clear session, cookies, local storage, you can do that. After that, again you want to kind of run a new test case, you can do that, where your login page cookies will be new. You can trigger that test case again. So each test case is actually considered as a fresh browser instance, uh, and each time it is running a new, you can say, scenario, new test case in a separate browser. Then we have flake detection. I'd already told you that it comes with a premium, guys. It will not be having in the you can say free version. Okay, and that comes when you try to have the Cypress cloud with you. Okay, you need to have some pricing involved for Cypress cloud, that we need to have it. After that we have the consistent result, guys. So consistent result means if it is getting passed for 10 times, obviously if unless and until there is no change over the environment or something, only then the Cypress will provide the consistent result, guys. Okay, and you need to select the locator in such a way that that locator will remain same throughout your let's say over the period of time, guys. Okay, so the locator selections and everything is completely on us. Obviously we need to have the conversations with the developer that what are the unique identifier or locators which you are having when you are developing your this particular page. So that discussions we can have it with the developer, guys. Okay, so I'll just quickly talk about all three advantage. First is easy installation, then we spoken about time travel, and then we spoke about the automatic waiting, guys. Anybody has any queries, any doubt, anything you want to highlight, guys, before I move to the next advantage? Please feel free to unmute and speak up, guys. So all these are present on their official website, guys. Okay, anybody wants to add anything which you think, let's say, I didn't spoke about or something?
Yeah, I have one question about the course. Like, I just wanted to ask if all these things like will be covered in detail, right? Even the paid ones, like which are included in the paid Cypress. Will you be teaching us how all of them?
So the Cypress paid one, guys, remember that when I create an account, it will be free for 14 days, right? So within that time period, obviously, we will be able to cover whatever is required from the cloud perspective. Okay, if you have, okay, then you need to
Okay.
talk about that. Otherwise, whatever is required from the paid one, they will have the detailed discussion.
Okay. But as part of the course, you will be going through them in detail, like.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Obviously.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much.
Anybody else wants to add anything, guys? You want to let's say any queries, any doubts? Because as I mentioned, guys, this course will be purely in JS. Okay, please remember, we will be talking only about JavaScript. Okay, not on TypeScript. Okay, so the major difference with respect to this is like there is slight change between the syntax part. Otherwise, 90% of the coding part is same. Only thing is there is slight change with respect to syntax. Otherwise, everything is same. Okay, clear everyone? Okay. Okay, so I hope everyone are clear. Let's move to little bit practical oriented. So before that, let me just give one quick overview. So we spoke about easy installation. Second advantage was like time travel. Okay, so wherein you can record and play back all the test cases whenever it is required. And the third advantage, major advantage, you can consider as automatic waiting, guys. Okay, so these are the major advantage what we have with respect to Cypress over other you can say automation tool. Okay, now coming to, guys, the prerequisite which I mentioned at the top. The first prerequisite which is required is you need to like, let me write for installations and setup what all things is required. The first thing which we will require is, guys, install node. Okay, install node. So I would request everyone, I'll obviously speak about this, how to install node and everything. Second is I will be second you need to have install VS Code, guys. Okay, install VS Code. Okay, so these are the two things which is required. That's it. Other than that, we are good to go. Okay, so I'll share the link with you. Install node, just go Google and just write a download, or let's say install node. So you will see that you will be going to the official website, and here you can click on pre-built installer and click on this latest version is 23. So whichever version greater than 11 you need to have into your machine. Okay, So you can copy, I'll share this link with you all. Okay, from this you just need to install it, and once it is installed, just normal process how we install other software, just click next, next, and once it is done, go to the command prompt in Windows, and in Mac you can go to terminal and just write node minus v. So right now my version will be 18, so this is the current version which I'm using, guys. Okay, so for you, please, once it is installed, please run this command called as node minus v, okay, to check the current version which is being installed into your machine. Okay, so this is one activity which you guys need to do. Perfect, everyone are clear? Okay, next, install VS Code, guys. It's not the only, you can say, editor which we should use, guys. You can use PyCharm, you can use other editors as well, guys. Okay, so it's not that mandatory that I am, because 95% of the people are trying to have their code over VS Code. That's the reason, because there is a lot of plugin support. There are a lot of the integration with CI/CD is great. Integration with source code management is great. So that's the reason VS Code is preferred comparatively. Okay, so just go to this thing and just write VS Code download, and you will see that for Mac, for Linux, and other this thing you will be able to have. So those who are using Windows, those who are using Mac, so please download, and this is a one-time activity, guys. Okay, everyone are clear? Anybody has any concern, any queries with respect to installation and setup? Okay. If everybody are clear, can anybody tell me why Node? Why we require Node.js, guys? Anybody? Why Node.js? It's like you can unmute and speak up, guys. That's not a problem. Whatever you think, why Node.js? Why we require Node.js? What is the reason? So, um, if you have worked on Selenium in the past, right, you might have seen that we are having something called as Maven, guys, right? What is Maven? Maven is a build management tool which is kind of managing or maintaining our build. Okay, in Maven we are having certain commands such as mvn test, mvn compile, mvn all these commands we have, right, which is obviously managing the dependencies whatever is required for our project. So what happens when we try to run that command? It usually go to the Maven repository, guys. Okay, so there is a website. I hope everyone are aware about that. The website name is MVN repository, and from here we usually download the required dependencies into our project and have that dependencies into our pom.xml. Okay, so whatever I told is with respect to Selenium. Okay, in Selenium we do that. Okay, same way Cypress is completely based on one of the this thing which is called as npmjs.com. Okay, so this is the official website where all your packages are being uploaded. Okay, even if you search over here Cypress, you will see that the Cypress is also present on this particular npm as well. Okay, so here you can see that published 24 days ago, this is a current version, and here you can see that this is a command which we can trigger to download Cypress. Am I clear, everyone? Okay, so what is node package manager doing? Basically whatever dependencies we will require in future, okay, with respect to, let's say, any of the module, let's say any of the test case, while executing any this thing scenarios, we will directly come to npm.js and try to search for that particular dependency. Okay, So detailed documentations will be provided over here. You can go to their official GitHub pages, guys. You can see the detailed you can say documentation here as well, guys. So you have multiple ways to configure the same tool into your machine. Obviously the choice is our how we need to do the setup, guys. You can do the setup from the official website as well, guys. So here also you will see the support for how we can let's say download Cypress, guys. Okay, everyone are clear? Anybody has any doubts, queries, questions, guys? Please unmute and speak up, guys. At any point you think, let's say not clear or something, please you can unmute and let's say you can interrupt in between, guys. Okay, so npm is node package manager, which is managing or let's say having all the required dependencies whatever is required for our project. Okay, so here you can see that we are having two approach. One is I can trigger this command, second is I can download the zip version and try to extract that, and after that I need to unzip and then I can do the setup for Cypress. Okay, I will not do with that approach. I will obviously run or trigger through the command only. Okay, so and once you do that, after that, guys, please remember you can see over here little bit more detail about what all things we have. You can directly test your applications into your browser. We will be able to write our first test case while the installation setup. You will be able to debug the failure by checking the assertions. You can eliminate the flaky test case, which I already told you about, and then you can create a YAML file. Okay, YML file, YAML file. Once you are having the GitHub actions, CI/CD, Jenkins, if you have the Dockerizations, okay, so with respect to this tool, you can integrate and you can run your job through this CI/CD integrator. Okay. And over here, guys, if you are using Cypress Cloud, we will be able to trigger the concept of master slave, which is like multiple machine, same test case. Okay, which we have in Selenium called as Selenium Grid. Okay, so we will be able to do this setup as well and review and debug failure visually, because at the same time on the right hand side you will see the assertion error and everything. Okay, over here this pie chart or this particular you can say line graph, we will have it in our Cypress Cloud version, guys. Okay, it will not be present into our normal while running. Whenever we will trigger our test case in cloud, you will see a you can say bar graph like this. And if you have the CI/CD, which is like obviously I told you, right, we can integrate and try to check why the test case are getting failed and everything. Okay, and this is like the app quality wherein if you integrate with Cypress Cloud, so at that time we will be able to have this particular flowchart as well. Okay, so I hope everyone are clear. Anybody has any queries, doubts, questions? Okay, so we'll move quickly to our setup, guys. So before doing the setup, guys, I'll just show you at high level what all things usually we have whenever we are um, working with Cypress, guys. Okay, so here you can see on the left hand side we will have the folder structure. Okay, and with respect to folder structure we will do a detailed discussion, guys. Okay, in the coming session we will have something called as node module. Okay, so whenever you install Cypress for the first time, guys, you will see that we will have one folder called as node module, which will manage and maintain all the required dependencies into this particular folder. After that we will have cypress.config.js. How it will get created, we will talk about that. We have package log.json. This is again managing the dependencies whatever we are integrating into our project. We have package.json and readme.md for just you can say documentation purpose. Okay, So when you open Cypress, guys, this is the folder structure which we usually follow. If you want to obviously have more folder, subfolder, you can add them, no, not an issue, but make sure that our main folder, or you can say the root folder, where all our test case are kind of having, like all our test case are sitting, that is E2E folder, guys. Okay, so E2E folder is the one where we are trying to make sure that all the test case are sitting. And even if you are following a BDD style of writing, then we will have dot feature. And if you are writing normal test case, you can write dot cy dot js. Okay, so that is in Cypress, we call that as a spec pattern, which you can define in our configuration, whether you want to trigger dot feature test case or you want to trigger dot cy dot js test case. Okay, so any questions on the folder structure, guys? Because I will do a detailed discussion on this. But before that, anybody has any query on this particular folder structure? Anybody wants to add anything, guys? Please.
So if we do have multiple projects, so do we need to put all the test cases in under the E2E folder? I mean,
If you are having multiple projects, so when you say multiple project, usually the questions goes towards, let's say I'm having a UI, like UI related project and API related project, correct? So
yeah.
all the test case will go under E2E. The answer is no. You will have separate folder for UI, separate folder for API. The main folder I'm talking about. So even this Cypress installation, we will do twice actually, for API, for UI. But if your project, let's say QA architect or your project lead is comfortable with having those both the framework into single project, then in Cypress what we do under E2E, we create subfolder with respect to UI and API, and that subfolder we try to kind of do the setup, and accordingly all the test case will sit under single E2E folder. Okay, so that decision is completely your project, you can say architect or project, QA lead or someone. If they are saying that no, we don't have, we have separate base URL, we have separate, you can say test data altogether, why we are having in single this thing, right? So in that scenario you will have separate two separate project. But if they are saying that we have the same base URL, the same API is being used over UI, correct, UI screens, in that scenario what we can do is we can have it as a single project, and in that single project we will have the both the project inside E2E only.
Okay. Okay.
Perfect. Okay. Now, before this, guys, I'm sure that this particular folder structure will not get generated automatically. Okay, so you need to trigger some command before doing this. Okay, so let me kind of do a quick activity. Okay, so because what happens is like this Cypress folder, this node module obviously doesn't get generated automatically, guys. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll go to File Explorer. Okay, basically like in Finder, and you can see that we are having Cypress over here. Okay, so um, at this particular section, okay, I'll create one more new folder, guys. Okay, and that folder I'm keeping the name as, please try to understand, this is your choice, you can give whatever name you want. I'm giving the name as V Cypress Automation November 2024. Okay, so just for, you can say, unique identifier, November 2024. And once you give this name, perfect, after that please open this folder from VS Code. I'm repeating, please open this folder from VS Code. So you can exit this, you can close this, okay, and you can open the VS Code again. Okay, just make sure that the path which is being open, okay, it is the one which we created just now. Okay, So just click open, you will see that empty folder got created. Everyone are clear? Anybody has any doubt, any query? So this is the first step which you will do. Okay, after that you can go to terminal, click on new terminal. Okay, so once you go to terminal guys, you can see that over here you can see that we are having the terminal wherein I am in this particular project. Okay, so once you write ls, you will see nothing is there. So just clear, and after that you need to run npm init. Okay, so what is npm init? Basically you are initializing a node package module. So through this process what will happen, one file will get created guys. Okay, so we have uh, this is the package name guys. So we Cypress automation November, this is, I'm not changing it. So you can see the package name, just hit enter. The version, if you want to have some specific version guys, you can just add it over here. If not, you can hit enter. This is for UI and API automation. So I'm just writing high level description. Entry point index.js, you can hit enter. Test command, if you want to add some test command. Okay, so I'll talk about that later on. What are the different command we need to trigger? If you have the git URL, you can manage. There are certain keywords such as Cypress is a keyword. Then we have all these keywords, right? So you can add certain keywords if required. Author, license. So you think everything is fine, just write yes and hit enter. So once you do that guys, you will see that the same thing what I just had, right? So same thing, a package.json will get created. Okay, so I'm repeating the steps guys. Okay, what I did just now. What was the first step? You will create a new folder and open that same folder via VS Code. Step 2, run the command. What is the command guys? Npm init. Okay, and uh, write appropriate details and create package.json. Perfect, everyone are with me? Step 3, now the actual step which we are going to do guys. Okay, everyone are with me right till this point? Anybody has any query, any doubt, questions? Run the command. See guys, I'm not by you just need to run this command, or if you want you can go to download Cypress. Okay, so you will see the official page over here. Okay, so you can just trigger this command. Okay, that is also fine, and the command which you were seeing over there, that is also fine. Both are fine guys. So you can just trigger this command guys. Npm install Cypress hyphen save hyphen dev. Clear everyone? Anybody has any doubt, any query, any concern? Please unmute and speak up guys. And this particular process will automatically create a node module guys. You can see that node modules got created and package log JSON got created, and it will download the Cypress latest version guys. Clear everyone? Anybody has any queries, doubt? So everybody understood total 3 steps? Yes? Okay. So guys, step 4. You need to run the command which is npx cypress open. Okay. So what is the command guys? Npx cypress open. Okay. So once you hit this, it will take few seconds guys. It will show us that you are opening Cypress for the first time, and once it is done, you will see the version over here, guys, 13.15.0. You can see the documentation. So this documentations will navigate you to the official website, like official community support and everything. And here you can see that I am logged in through one of the account, that is GitHub account. So that's the reason I can see over here. For you, there will be login actually. And here we have two section, guys. I want the answer from you guys. What is the difference between E2E testing and component testing? Anybody? Already the answer is over here only, but just at high level, I want to put this discussion point amongst you. What is the difference between E2E testing and component testing, guys? Anybody? You can unmute and speak up.
I think E2A is end-to-end testing,
Yes.
which just want to make sure we are just testing right from the starting to end. Whereas component, it deals about the individual components or modules.
Mm-hmm.
I believe is what
Perfect.
I
So
understand.
yeah,
Unit testing, it's kind of unit testing in like we'll do in component testing. Usually it will be conducted by developers.
correct. Component testing usually is done by developer, correct, which is also called as unit testing. So now the question arises over here. Cypress is being used by QA. Yes, Cypress is also used, or let's say, uh, for unit testing framework. It is also the tool which is being used by the developer, guys. Okay. So that the developer will be kind of working in a module or in the section called as component testing. Okay. And we as a QA, who are kind of responsible for doing regression, sanity, smoke, you can say, all different types of testing, right? We will be focusing only on one section, that is E2E. And that's the reason when I click on E2E, guys, I showed you previously the screen wherein here there was E2E folder, correct? So all our test case will imbibe under that particular folder. Okay, so that's the reason our major focus, 90% of the QA or 95% of the QA, is purely focusing on this particular area only. Okay, so we will be obviously clicking on E2E, guys. And once you click on E2E, you will see that here the configuration file which I showed you previously, this file will get added. Okay, so you can just check the content if you want. Okay, because there is no back actually from here. Mandatory, this is mandatory step, guys. Okay, you cannot say that I don't want this file, I don't want this file. No, that is the Cypress configuration file, and it is a mandatory step which is including this file under one folder. Sorry, it is including directly into our Cypress project, guys. Okay, so once you click on this, in the backend you will see that Cypress config.js got added, Cypress folder got added, guys. Clear, everyone? Perfect. Understood? And now the very important part, this thing point, guys. Here you will see the browser which are locally installed into your machine. Okay, for me Edge is installed, for me Chrome is installed, for me Electron is installed, Firefox is installed. That's the reason these are all coming under Chromium, guys. Okay, and Gecko driver. So that's the reason we are able to see this browser's option, and from this we can choose any one of them. Okay, so whatever browser you will choose, your test case will start executing under that browser. First it will ask you to generate some default example actually. Okay, so here you will see that scaffold example specs and create new specs. Okay, and here bottom you will see view spec pattern. So this spec file is nothing but test case. In Cypress we call this as a spec file, but spec file is equivalent to what? Test case, guys. Okay, so I'll just do one last activity before we end today's session. So over here, I'll click on scaffold example for you guys to practice. And after that, I'll click on OK, I got it. So all these files, guys, whatever you can see, around 25 to 30 files got added automatically into our project, guys. Okay, so here you can see under E2E, these are the files. And all the coding and everything has been added. So we don't need to worry right now. Obviously, I'll talk about this later. Okay, because any which ways we are not going to obviously talk about this right now. We will create our own test case and try to understand that, and later on we'll move to this particular example. So this is the screen which will be getting displayed every time whenever you open Cypress. Okay, so I'll close from here, guys. As soon as you close, you need to close the Cypress instance also. So once you close, you can see that we detected that Chrome browser was shut down like unexpectedly. And over here, you can just trigger one more command clear, so that everything will get clear from here. Okay, so just to summarize, just to kind of give complete overview, today we started with our discussion on little bit why Cypress, and I was completely focused on Cypress, guys. So we have spoken about the advantage, we have spoken about the installation and setup, how what all steps you need to follow. When at high level I spoke about why we are using Node.js, and after that we have spoken about the steps which we have taken into consideration into our VS Code. And guys, please remember, this will be our project name throughout our practicing, you can say practical part, guys. So we will completely focused on this particular project only. Anybody got any queries, any doubt, any questions, guys? Please feel free to ask, guys. Anyone? Perfect. So anybody wants to share your questions over chat window, please feel free to kind of I think somebody has raised your hand. Soumya, any questions? I think it was previous question or something. uh, Soumya, we cannot hear you if you are speaking. Anybody else has any questions? If you want to put your questions over chat window, guys, please feel free to okay, I think we are good. So yeah, thank you everyone, thank you so much. We will meet tomorrow at same time. This sessions will be recorded, guys, and this recorded session link you will be getting over the. I'm not audible.
We can hear you.
Okay. Ramki, can you check at your end, please?
Yeah, yeah, I just said to Soumya.
Oh, okay, okay. Sorry,
Yeah.
thought it was for me. Yeah, no problem. So yeah, so guys, these sessions will be recorded and will be provided to you. And tomorrow also we'll have deep dive into Cypress UI. I would say UI part. So we'll have at same time, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for taking out your time on Saturday. We'll meet tomorrow at same time, guys. Thank you once again.